Tiger fans, it's that time. 2025 football season tickets are officially on sale. Coach T.C. Taylor and the National Championship JSU football team is gearing up for another unforgettable season at Veteran Memorial Stadium. Our goal is 10,000 season ticket holders, and there's no doubt we can rise to the occasion. This year, we've added a $10 donation to season ticket sales that will go towards supporting key initiatives such as the Sonic Boom of the South and the NIL efforts for Division of Athletics. So Tiger fans, as we get ready to guard the yard, we need your support, Jackson State University and Division of Athletics, by getting your season tickets today. Tickets can be purchased online at gojsutigers.com/tickets or visit the JSU ticket office at the stadium or the AAC. Go Tigers!
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline. The game starts here.
What's up, Tiger fans? Welcome back to another episode of Tiger Talk TV. I am the Corey C. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You don't want to miss a single upcoming episode. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. That's the Apple Podcast app, Google Podcast app, YouTube. So be sure to follow the show and tell every Tiger that you know. All right, back with another banger. Got a special guest in the building. Intriguing recruit, man. I can't wait to hear his story. You know the name. Now you see the face. Quincy Ivory. Welcome to Tiger Talk TV.
How y'all doing? It's good to be here.
Hey, man, we're happy to have you. How you feeling, man? How you doing?
Feeling great. Feeling great.
All right, brother, man. We want to dive off into your story because you've had quite the football journey, a unique journey that has led you to Jackson State. First, let's just kind of get to know you on a personal level. Tell us something about the man, the myth, the legend, Quincy Ivory. Give us a fun fact. Tell us something interesting that's not football related.
Actually a pretty good artist. Like
Okay.
I draw on the side, so I'm not gonna say I'm just the best, but I do pretty good.
Okay. All right, man. You got to put some of that out on social media so we can check it out.
Got you.
So let's get to it, man. Let's start from the beginning, man. Let everybody know where you grew up and where you play high school ball.
I'm from Houston, Texas. I went to two different high schools actually. I spent my freshman and sophomore year at A-Leaf Elsick High School. I transferred my junior year to Legacy School of Sports Sciences in Spring, Texas, which is also another fun fact. Every website has me from Spring, Texas, because that's like where I blew up at. But I'm from A-Leaf, Texas. Okay. And then senior year, I transferred back to my original school. So.
Okay. Talk about high school football in Texas, man. It's always a debate between the Floridians and Georgia, California, Ohio, Texas about where's the best high school football. They say everything's bigger and better in Texas. So talk about that competition in Texas.
Ain't nothing like 6A football in Texas. That's a different beast right there. And I went to one of the biggest high schools in Texas, so we played some pretty good. We played some pretty good opponents.
Throw some names out there, some guys you played with or against, some guys who we may know from the college level or even in the NFL.
Honestly, I didn't pay attention to the player names. I just paid attention to the school. So we played Pearland Dawson, Pearland, played Lamar. That Lamar team, I believe that was 2018, 2019. That team, I'm pretty sure if you go back and look at that roster, they had some dogs on that team. That was a stacked roster from top to bottom. But
absolutely. When did you get into sports, and was it just football, or did you play multiple sports growing up?
I've been in sports since I was 4 years old, but my dad actually wanted me to be a baseball player.
Okay.
And fun fact, I was right-handed for the longest, and then he wanted me to be ambidextrous because he wanted to be a pitcher. So he
Okay.
wanted to be ambidextrous, and I started throwing my left. And then I don't know, at some point in my life, I just forgot how to throw my right hand, so I
Wow.
became I became left-handed.
So you're fully left-handed right now.
Yeah, fully
Okay.
left-handed.
Which sport did you start playing first? You started playing football and then you transitioned into baseball?
Football, and then I actually football and baseball, and then basketball kind of took over baseball. So
Okay. Wow. So once you got to high school and started really taking it serious and honing in on the sport, which sports did you play at that point?
football.
So you let basketball and baseball go.
I played football and basketball mainly, and then every now and then I dabbled into track and baseball, but mainly
Wow.
football
Even
and
track.
basketball. Yeah, football
Okay.
and basketball are like my main
So
two.
when did you know that football was the one, or how did you know that even if you kept playing the other ones, that football was going to be the ticket to college?
So like I said, football and basketball was like my main two sports, and looking at it, I didn't think I was gonna be a 6'4" big man at the next level.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I was like, football's gonna be my way out. And honestly, I thought about not playing anymore because I didn't get my first offer until my senior year, like 2 weeks before signing day, and I was
Wow.
at Mississippi Valley.
Yep. We want to. Oh, we're going to talk about it. Trust me.
Yeah,
Trust me. We're going to get into that. We're going to get
yeah.
into that. Wow. Yeah, and you had a position change in college as well. So once you started playing football and really got serious about it, what positions did you play in football growing up?
I played everything except offensive line. So from the
Wow.
time I was 4 years old to now, I played every position, from quarterback, fullback, running back, wide receiver. You can name everything except offensive line. I played
So let's go back to your senior year of high school. What were you listed as on the roster? Were you listed as a
quarter,
quarterback?
quarterback.
So you started at quarterback your senior year of high school. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you play any other positions during your senior year of high school?
All
Okay, so
throughout high school, I played quarterback.
okay, all right, all right, all right. Talk about that recruitment out of high school. You said Mississippi Valley was the only offer.
Yes. Well, I had another offer. I believe it's D3. It was like Texas
Okay,
Wesleyan, something
okay,
like that. I was committed there for like 2 weeks, and then I wasn't really heavy on the whole recruiting and all that. So talking to my high school coach back then, he wanted me to commit because that was looked like that was the only offer I was going to get.
hmm
And then Mississippi Valley, when during basketball season during the playoffs, they offered me a official visit there, and I actually missed like a whole 3 days of practice before a playoff game. So, but yeah, I went up there. I met Coach Dancy. We
yep,
sat down, we talked, all of that, and he offered me right there on the spot, and I just knew I had to be there. I just knew
okay,
I wanted to go D1. So,
okay. I got you. Prior to that, had you ever heard of Mississippi Valley State?
no, no,
You were familiar with the swag though, right? Because you got Texas Southern and you got Prairie View right there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was
Had you ever
familiar
been?
with it.
Had you ever been to a swag game or an HBCU football game?
I actually went
Right.
to an unofficial visit to Prairie View and Southern. I think that
Okay.
was
Yep.
2019.
hmm
Believe that was the year. Yeah, I went to that. That was an experience.
Okay. Talk about your experience at Mississippi Valley State.
So the first year was COVID year, so everything was kind of like all over the place. But that was my first time like being away from home, like actually away from everybody. I went to AAU tournaments and all that, but actually moving away from home, that was a different experience. And I actually met a lot of teammates that I still talk to this day. A lot of great relationships, and I mean, it was just an experience. I mean, Valley didn't, it doesn't have much, but it's the
hmm
people there that made the
Yeah.
experience.
hmm Coach Dancy, what do you remember about playing for him?
That's my guy right there, Coach Dancy. He was very, he's very, how do I say this? He's not a very rah guy, but like once you
Yeah.
get him to that, once he's on the field, it's a different story. He's locked into every detail. He wants you to be great. He tries to get a relationship with everybody, every one of his
hmm
players.
Yeah. Pop quiz. Where did he play college ball?
Jackson State.
Definitely, that's our guy, man. Man, great player. We fell in love with Coach Dancy from his playing days and has followed him throughout his career. Obviously, went on to Colorado and then Mississippi State. So we're always rooting for Coach Dancy. So let's go back to that spring season. Mississippi Valley State came to Jackson. You played in that game. What do you remember about playing in the vet? And that was an ESPN game. It was streamed on ESPN during the Coach Prime buzz. So what do you remember about all that?
I just remember the crowd, honestly, like thinking about it after playing every other game, the crowd wasn't that hype. And then when we got to when we got to the vet, I remember seeing. Well, I played against. I don't know if I mentioned this. I played against Shador and Dion in high
Yeah,
school.
you can mention that's our people.
Yeah, I played against them in high
Okay.
school.
Oh, let's go back to that. Tell us about that, and then we'll get back to it.
Yeah, it was. I think that was my second year there before I transferred back. We played
Mhm,
against Trinity, their school, and I remember all the players were hyped. Everything. We're playing against Dion, playing against Shador, and we're all hyped playing against the game. But then we just get on the field, and it's like it's different. Like they just whatever they wanted to do, they did.
mm,
Especially the offense. Like they were just nickel and diming everywhere.
mm,
And so I kind of got that same feeling when we went to the vet because even though I wasn't playing, I can like feel like okay,
mhm.
this is a different team. And I
Yeah,
just remember when I went in for that one play, I just remember the crowd, like just everybody cheering and just it was just different.
yeah. Yeah, and that was a spring game, and that was really, during still COVID, so a lot of people weren't there. So the crowd,
Hmm.
you may have been impressed by that crowd, but we can pack it out a lot more than that. I'm pretty sure you've seen or heard since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll get to experience that. So that was spring 2021, and after that was when things really got interesting for you in my eyes. So let's talk about this journey. So you transferred to East Los Angeles Community College. What went into that decision to leave Valley to
Um,
go there?
Thinking about it now, it's honestly probably wasn't the smartest idea.
Mm,
When I left, when I talked to let me say Coach Riley, Coach Dancy, and Coach Totten, they just wished the best for me. And I honestly didn't even have a plan like going
mm,
into the portal.
mhm,
And then one of my childhood friends growing up, he was already at East Los Angeles for a year. He was like, just come here for a year. You never know what can happen. You can get here and get out. And honestly, I just made a 19-year-old decision. You can say I just packed up everything and went out there to LA with like $1,000 in my pocket
mm,
and
mhm.
just tried to grind it out and get a way
Yeah,
out.
yeah. There's a lot of adults who just pack up and go to LA with $1,000 in their pocket trying to get a career in the show business. So, so I think you're okay. You get to make that. I don't want to call it a mistake, but you get to make that decision. You live and you learn. But everything happens for a reason. Now,
Mhm.
at this point, you're still playing quarterback, right? Or kind of talk us through that. So, quarterback in high school, recruited as a quarterback at Valley. That's the only thing you played at Valley was quarterback, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you get out there to LA, I see defensive end. So, talk about how that came about. Did you? I'll let you tell it.
Okay, it's like it's quite a story. So
You want to
when
hear
I
it?
was at Valley, I was putting on some weight. So I came
Okay.
in at like 200, but I left at like 240.
Was it
So
that Mississippi Delta food, that catfish?
yeah, kind of. It was I was just eating. So I kind of put on some weight, and then when I went to Los Angeles, um, it was a battle between me and another QB, but he hadn't even stepped on campus yet.
Mhm,
But you know how you get the feeling like, okay, they already got their guy,
mhm.
and so we tried. I tried to battle it out, and I ended up losing.
Okay.
So like the first 3 weeks of the season, I didn't even play. I was the signal caller. So if
Mhm.
you probably go watch any of them games, you'll see me on the sideline probably signaling.
Okay.
And so it was like the fourth week of the season, and they brought in all the players that wasn't playing, and they just asked you, "What did you want to do?" And the offensive coordinator, he wanted me to play tight end, but I was like, "Nah, I don't want to block. I'd rather just
Mhm,
go sack the quarterback. I'd rather go play defense." And so the first game I got in there, I was just running around there with a deer with his head cut off. I was just running
mhm.
around, and I ended up making, I think, the game-winning sack my first game, and then ever since then, it's just I've been locked into this position.
How much time did you get to practice at defensive end before that game, between that meeting and actually being put into the game? Did you get to practice
Uh,
that?
Probably about 3 days, maybe.
3 days. Before that, when was the last time you had played defensive end?
Seventh grade, eighth grade, middle
Wow.
school. Yeah,
So just
I,
basically instinct and just raw ability.
pretty much. Like I was just playing out there.
How'd you know defensive end? You said it was just you wanted to hit the quarterback. What kind of went into you picking
I
that? Or
don't
you?
because everybody growing up, that was like my like seventh grade. I know it's middle school, but like I felt like I was just different at the end. Like me and Clinton Anakaru, I hope I played his name right. Me and him was on the edge together, and like we combined for at least 30 sacks that seventh grade year. So like I always knew I had a thing for DN, but it's just I don't know. It's just sacking the quarterback just feels just feels great.
Hmm. So you said you had gotten up to 240, right? Well, what about the height? What's your height?
6'3".
6'3", 240. Okay, is that where you're at now? Did you just kind of settle in that
I'm
range?
250 now. I fluctuate between them.
Okay, 6'3", 250. The transition. Played that first game, just kind of like you said, running around like a deer in headlights, not really knowing what's going on, but making things happen. And then once you got acclimated and start to learn the position and being taught the position, talk about the transition and how that worked for you.
Yeah, I was just playing football for like the first two games, but honestly, I think that worked out in my favor because after he seen that, he just let me let me just go, just let me just roam. So honestly, sometimes I'm supposed to stunt to the A gap, but if I see an open B gap, he'll just let me just roam free and just make a play.
How many seasons were you out there?
One,
Okay. Okay. Got that one season. So around mid-season, you get moved to defensive end. Man, I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback move to the defensive front seven before. You see quarterbacks move to offensive skill positions all the time, especially wide receiver. As a matter of fact, another fun fact, did you know that TC Taylor started out at Jackson State as a quarterback and then moved to wide receiver?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you know that story.
I
So yeah.
just recently learned
Okay. So yeah, we see that from time to time, but the narrative that quarterbacks are, and I definitely don't want to say soft. Don't want to use that term, but
that's another thing right there. Yeah.
go
Um,
go ahead. Speak on it. Speak on it.
So when I made the transition from quarterback to DN, like you get a lot of trolls, and they're like,
Hmm.
you can't play DN. They're too
Hmm.
soft. They're all this. And at first, I didn't think I could do it because QBs don't lift the DN type of weight. So
Yeah.
I was a little weak in that department. But I guess that just fueled me because like I hate the word soft. So it's like when
Hmm.
somebody calls me soft, that just triggers
Hmm.
a whole nother mode in me.
Yeah. Wow. I don't want to say soft, but you don't want to see your quarterback getting hit. I think that's where that narrative kind of came from. So to see a quarterback move into a position where he's doing the hitting and being physical, that's different. That's definitely different. But you also played some quarterback still while at JUCO, right? While out in LA, you still went back to so
Yeah,
talk about that. How did?
we had a quarterback dilemma. So after I moved to DN, we had the starting guy I told you I lost to.
Hmm.
He actually, I think, had a broken toe or fractured toe, one of that put him out for the season.
Hmm.
So our backup came in, and I think this was the game right before that bowl game when I transitioned. He actually got hit in the arm and fractured something in his arm. So he was out, and then we didn't have another quarterback after that. So there was like either we can go wildcat all game or you can transition back to quarterback for this last game. And I didn't want the whole team to just run wildcat the entire game. So I was like, I'll just go back for this game and just sacrifice my DN position.
So just one game.
Yeah, I just went back for that bowl game.
Did you get the entire week to practice and kind of transition back?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How'd it go?
It was kind of fun actually, cause like
Mhm.
being going from that side and being back on the other side, it was just fun that whole week. Going back to being in that room again, just fun going back with my guys.
Man, that's almost Travis Hunter territory. You mentioned Shador and Coach Prime earlier, but I mean, playing two positions. I mean, obviously you didn't do it in the same game, but I would say even more challenging than what Travis did, just given the differences in the position. I mean, going back and forth between quarterback and edge rusher versus cornerback and wide receiver. Definitely a challenge. But at that point, you were already being recruited as a defensive end. So I'm sure scouts showed up at that game ready to see you play defensive end, and then you run out there at quarterback
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. From there, how did the recruitment go? I mean, we know you wound up at Florida, so obviously it went well, and schools were noticing you. But just talk about the recruitment as a defensive end.
Um, I felt like after that first year, I felt very comfortable back at DN. So I felt like I was going to stay another year at JUCO and pick up more offers. But I think that summer, I think the offers just start flying in. And the head coach at East Los Angeles, Coach G, he sat me down. He was like, if this is what you want to do and you want to leave, you can do that. Because I had about 14, 15 offers at the time. But he said, if you stay, you can be the number one player in the country. And
Wow.
then that's when Florida came into the picture, and I was like, that's SEC. I can't pass that up.
Wow. What are some other schools that were after you, if you can remember?
USF, Fresno State, um, dang, I'm trying to remember. Bowling Green, Akron.
It's a lot of schools. Oh.
Yeah,
And you
yes.
only played in a handful of games at defensive end because you said it was after week 3, 4 where you
I
got
played
switched. At
about.
first, you didn't even know what you were doing, and then the last game was at quarterback. So we're talking about what, 4 or 5 games?
I think maybe six,
Okay,
maybe like six.
6 games, and that was enough for a Florida to notice you. So obviously, you learned that position pretty quickly, and things kind of took off. So we head back over the opposite end of the coast from LA to Gainesville, Florida. Talk
Mhm.
about that experience getting over there.
That was that summer. Oh my, that Florida heat was no joke. I'll tell you that much. Getting acclimated into that, and then just the speed of the SEC. So like
Mm,
in JUCO, it's kind of like a step up from high school, you can say. But then
hmm
the SEC, it's almost the pros. Everything has to be fast, on point. So that first year, just getting acclimated, that was probably the most challenging. Then the second year is just basically, I would say, getting defensive end shape because I just transferred from quarterback, so I had to get my muscle tone back up.
hmm Was Coach Callie James involved in your recruitment, or did you develop a relationship with him while you were there?
At Florida,
Hmm
so at Florida, he was the assistant D line coach. But whenever we would do drills together, he would always give me coaching points and all that. And then it's like as soon as I hit the portal, he DM'd me immediately, and we just start hitting it off from there.
As soon as you hit the portal when you were leaving Florida, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So you would say he was your lead recruiter at Jackson State? He
yeah,
was the lead recruiter? Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
First of all, what went into the decision to leave Florida? Let's go back there.
Um, Honestly, throughout my whole college career, as you can see, I didn't get much playing time, so I just had to make a decision for me because I didn't see myself playing my very last year at Florida. So if it's not going to be at the SEC level, it can be anywhere. I just want to get on the field and play and show
Got
my
it.
talent.
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense.
Coach Kylie James, he understood that, and we just started talking ever since and getting the plan together.
Okay. All right. So back in familiar territory, or familiar conference, the SWAC at Jackson State. What was it that sealed the deal for you to commit there? Was it just the conversation with Callie James, or did you have to go on a visit, or what was kind of the mindset, mentality behind that?
I actually never went on a visit here, but it was just the relationship with Coach James, and then obviously after he took the other job, I started getting a close relationship with Coach Jack and Coach TC. So just building the relationships with those guys.
Hmm That's what I want to talk about. Coach James, he accepts a new position at Western Kentucky. My phone, it started blowing up. People calling me, texting. What is Quincy gonna do? Because they just connected the dots. Florida. They figured that you were a Callie James guy. So is he gonna still come? Is he gonna go with him? Is he gonna, jump back in the portal? A lot of times, a player is committed to a particular coach more so than a school. So how did you take the news that he was leaving?
He actually called me like I think 3 days before I was supposed to come here to Jackson. So it kind of hit me as like a shocker too. But as we talked, he let me know that I was in hands of good people here at Jackson State, and it's like home. And I've already been in the SWAC environment, so I know he's not just trying to blow smoke. But
Mhm.
I would say that one of the main contributors was him coming to play for him. But I understood that if he trusts these people here, then I'm in good hands.
At that point, were you already on campus?
No, it was like
Wow.
4 days before I was supposed to report.
Wow. So technically, you could have decided to make a different decision, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And you said you get here and then you started developing relationships with guys like Aaron Jackson. Talk a little bit about him. He's a guy that the fans love from a energy standpoint. They see him on social media. I get a chance to kind of talk to him up close and personal, but he's a guy who's expected to kind of step into that role. Nothing official, but on the D line. So just talk about him and how that relationship has evolved with you.
I hope it's official.
Okay, okay. Break
Yeah.
some news. I mean,
So,
you can break some news. I can't break news. I can't do it. But if you
yeah.
want to break some news,
I hope it's official because, like I said, after Coach James leaving, I just built the strongest relationship with Coach Jack, and that's my guy. He ever since I stepped on campus, he's making sure I'm good, making sure I got everything straight, making sure I had housing, food,
mm,
all that. So that Coach Jack quickly became one of my guys here.
okay, yeah. Shout out to Coach Jack. Yeah, we hope it's official as well. All right, so you're at Jackson State from Florida.
Mhm.
Fun fact, don't know if you know this or not, but the last person to transfer from Florida to Jackson
James
State.
Houston,
All right, talk
James
about it. What
Houston.
you know about James Houston? The problem.
That was kind of like when me and Coach James was talking about me getting recruited here. We set a goal for me to break James Houston record.
Okay.
We wanted 20 and a half sacks, and we throughout the entire time I was getting recruited here. That's what we talked about every day. We were even planning on looking some of his film when he got here. So yeah,
Okay.
James Houston, he was definitely brought up during my recruitment.
Absolutely. The problem, draft pick, he's with the Browns now. We love James Houston. Kind of a similar story, obviously from Florida to Jackson State, but he came in as a linebacker and he changed position.
Hmm.
Obviously, you've been changing position, so definitely a great guy to kind of follow and strive to beat. So we'll have to connect you two if you're not connected already.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the transition to Jackson State. You're not new to transitions. How has this one been overall?
Honestly, it's not terrible. Obviously coming from Florida to Jackson State, it's a lot to adjust to, but like I said, it just feels like home here.
Hmm.
I would say these mat drills are something different though.
Uh-huh. I bet.
Yeah, these mat drills.
You talked about developing a relationship with coaches and them making you feel welcome and things like that. But what about players? Who are some of the players you become closest to?
Kanye Varner,
Yep.
we came in at the same time, so we're building that relationship. Dre, big offensive lineman,
Hmm. Yep.
he was actually one of the first people I met here. Reed,
Hmm.
when I first got here, I didn't have my housing yet, so I kind of hang out with him for a couple of hours. So hanging out with him was but pretty much the entire D line room, we kind of hit it off immediately.
Talk about that D line room, specifically the defensive ends. How's that room looking? Because we lost a lot from there from last season and really had to rebuild it. So obviously you haven't gotten into the real practices and things like that, but just kind of what you're seeing and what's the sense that you're getting coming from that room.
I feel like we're gonna play with a lot of grit, a lot of fight. With J Dub, Jeremiah Williams, he leading the group. You know, John Brown, you can call him
Hmm.
Coach Brown. He's the coach of the
Okay.
group.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we building strong relationships over here. It's no egos around the room.
Hmm.
Everybody wants everybody to win, even the walk-ons. We want
Okay.
them to get reps. We want them to succeed. So I feel
Mhm.
like we're gonna have a lot of fun this year, and everybody's gonna be cheering for everybody.
And just from a talent standpoint, again, you haven't really put pads on, but you've been in the SWAC, you've been in JUCO, and you've been at the top of the food chain when it comes to college football in the SEC. And not trying to compare Jackson State to a Florida, but just from a talent standpoint, because you've been in the SWAC and you played against a Coach Prime team. Granted, that was in the spring, so he didn't have all his recruits in. But just what are you sensing from a talent standpoint? If you were to ask the average person who wasn't familiar with HBCU football, and then they take a look at this team, what would you say about the talent there?
I say it's almost the same. It's just they have more media coverage in here, but there's
Okay.
some definite dogs here.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. What are you looking forward to the most this season? I know, again, you're familiar with the swag, but are there any games that jump out at you?
First game,
Because it's the first game, or because it's the first game?
first game,
Okay. All right. All right.
and actually no, I lied. That Las Vegas game.
Yeah.
I can't even see her in front like that.
Hmm.
I haven't seen that all over every
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah. That's gonna be a big one. That's gonna be a big one. We won't get a chance to go to Houston this year to play Texas Southern or Prairie View, but how many
That
years of eligibility do you have left? Is it just one?
one as of I know right now, but with
Okay.
the whole JUCO and everything, I don't know how
Okay.
that's going to work out.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll miss out on that trip to the Houston area, but it's all good. What are you studying?
I'm trying to get into coaching.
Okay.
It, I don't know how to say the degree name here, but it's working towards coaching.
Okay. That's your ultimate goal. All right. All
Yeah.
right. So let's talk about the fans when they saw the offer and the commitment. Coming from Florida, obviously, without even seeing you play or knowing anything about you, man, we're getting somebody from Florida. So I know they were kind of on social media retweeting and commenting and DMing. What was the feedback that you got from the fans when they saw that you were coming?
Honestly, it was a lot of love. As soon as I posted it, everybody was congratulating me and all this. But I just want to say this: I appreciate all the love and everything, but I also paid attention to some of the comments that weren't so hyped. They looked at my past stats and all this. He didn't do this. He doesn't have this. So I use that more of a fuel than the congratulations. But I appreciate all the congratulations, though.
Okay. Thank you for being transparent. They need to hear that. That fuels you. That drives you. So
Oh, trust me,
proving
I
wrong.
got a lot of screenshots of it. I
Okay,
know
you
who.
got the receipts. Okay, man. I love it. I love it. So prove them wrong, man. I'm here for it. That's life, man. That's good. That's life. That's not just not for a college student. You're gonna face adversity and naysayers and haters throughout your life. So it's a good learning lesson. I like the way you're looking at it and how you're taking it on and using it to drive you. So go have a monster season. If you can come close to breaking James Houston's records, you deserve to pull out those receipts. You deserve to pull them out.
But
All right, man. And then last but not least, your social media, make sure they know for the ones who aren't following you, I just give them that social media, Instagram and Twitter. Is it the same on both?
yes, sir. Everything is the same. So Instagram and Twitter is both Rock Out Quincy right here, right under my name.
Okay. Right. And that's exactly what we expect you to do, man. Rock out. So have a great season. We'll be pulling for you. We'll be following you throughout the entirety of it. And obviously, it's a national championship team. And again, that edge rusher room is the room that we kind of had to rebuild. So we're looking for you to fill a huge void and get us right back to the promised land.
Got y'all. Got
All right,
y'all.
man. We appreciate it, man. Wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Tiger Talk TV is presented by BetOnline.